Now let us discuss in detail about the flower. The flower is the reproductive unit of an angiosperm. Flower is the reproductive unit of an angiosperm. So we consider flower as reproductive unit. Flower is formed in an angiosperm when the angiosperm reaches the stage of maturity. So you know that the plants have got various stages in their lifespan. They are vegetative phase, reproductive phase and senescence stage, and the final stage is known as death. So during vegetative phase or vegetative stage, the plant shows growth. After completion of vegetative phase, the plants reach a stage known as maturity phase or the phase of reproduction. So whenever the plants reach a stage of maturity, it starts producing flowers. So flowers are the reproductive unit of an angiosperm. The flower has distinct parts. The flower has distinct parts. First we will note down what are the distinct parts of a flower, of a typical flower. Already we have come across this when we were discussing about the division angiospermae. In division angiospermae we have noted down the different types of or different classes of flowering plants. Among them the members that are included under class Dicotyledonnae and class Monocotyledonnae, and we have also noted down the structure of a typical flower. So we will just recall the structure of a typical flower and later on we will discuss in detail about the flower. The flower has, typical flower has distinct parts. The flower has a stalk-like structure known as pedicel. Stalk-like structure known as pedicel. Tip of the pedicel is swollen. Tip of the pedicel is swollen to form thalamus. Flower has a stalk-like structure known as pedicel. Tip of the pedicel is swollen to form thalamus. It is also termed as receptacle or torus. Receptacle or torus. On the thalamus there are various whorls of the flower. The outermost whorl of the flower is called calyx, which consists of units known as sepals. Within the whorl of calyx, there is a whorl which consists of petals, and this whorl is known as corolla. Within the whorl of corolla, there is a whorl called andrecium, which consists of units known as stamens. And the innermost whorl is called gynoecium, and gynoecium consists of carpels. So these are the four whorls of a flower. The outermost whorl being calyx, which consists of units known as sepals. Within the calyx there is a whorl known as corolla, which consists of units known as petals. And within the whorl of corolla there is a whorl which consists of stamens, and this whorl is known as andrecium. Which consists of stamens. And innermost whorl is called gynoecium. Which consists of units known as carpels. So this is the structure of a typical flower. Various parts of a typical flower: pedicel, thalamus, calyx, corolla, andrecium and gynoecium. So among these, the calyx, corolla, andrecium and gynoecium are the four whorls of a flower. So among these four whorls of the flowers, some of the whorls are directly involved in sexual reproduction, some are not directly involved in sexual reproduction. So based on this, the four whorls of the typical flower is categorized into two types of organs. They are essential organs and non-essential organs. So there are two distinct kinds of organs in a flower. You know that a typical flower has four distinct whorls. Typical flower has four distinct whorls. The whorls are calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Androecium and gynoecium. So among these, the outermost two whorls are called accessory whorls. Accessory whorls, or they are also called as non-essential whorls. Accessory or non-essential whorls, because they are not directly involved in sexual reproduction. Whereas androecium and gynoecium are called as essential whorls. They are called essential whorls because they are the actual reproductive, or they consist of actual reproductive units. Okay. So we see what are those actual reproductive units that are present in a flower. So androecium is a whorl of stamen. You know that androecium is a whorl of stamen. So stamens are considered as male reproductive units, whereas gynoecium are the whorl, the innermost whorl, which consists of carpels. So carpels are the female reproductive units. Remember that androecium consists of stamens, which is the male reproductive unit. Gynoecium consists of carpel, that is the female reproductive unit. In certain flowers, the flowers may be having both androecium and gynoecium whorl in them, or it may have both stamen as well as carpel. So when a flower has all the four distinct whorls, which are those four distinct whorls? Calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. So if a flower has all the four distinct whorls, then such a flower is known as bisexual flower. A flower can be described as bisexual if the flower has all the four whorls. If the flower has all the four whorls. So if the flower lacks any of the whorl, among these four whorls, if the flower lacks any of the whorl, such a flower, for example, if a flower lacks androecium, or if a flower lacks gynoecium, that is, if the flower lacks stamen, or if the flower lacks carpel. So such a flower is known as unisexual flower. So bisexual flower is that flower which consists of both stamens as well as carpels. It has got both stamens as well as carpels. Both stamens and carpels are present in a bisexual flower, whereas in a unisexual flower, in case of unisexual flower, it may have either stamen, flowers may have either stamen, or they may have only carpels. So if they have only stamen, for example, in unisexual flowers, they do not have all the four whorls. They may have only three whorls, right? The flowers may have only three whorls because the unisexual flowers have either stamens or carpels. So such flowers which lack any one of the reproductive organs, or which lacks any one of the essential whorl, having either stamens or carpels, are called as unisexual flowers. So flowers can be described as bisexual or unisexual based on the presence or absence of the accessory whorls. So in the next, let us discuss in what way we can describe the flowers. Now let us discuss about the description of flower. We can describe the flower in various ways. Taking various criteria, we can describe the flower in various ways. So flower can be described as complete or incomplete. Flower can be described as bisexual or unisexual, symmetrical or asymmetrical, trimerous, tetramerous or pentamerous, bracteate or ebracteate, hypogynous, perigynous or epigynous. So there are various ways to describe the flower based on various criteria. So first we will see what is a complete flower and what are incomplete flowers. A flower can be described as complete if it has all the four whorls. You know that flower has four distinct, a typical flower has four different whorls. They are calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. So if a flower has all the four whorls, such flowers are described as complete flowers. Complete flowers. So incomplete flowers are those flowers which lack any of the whorl. They may have only three whorls, they may have only two whorls, etc. For example, there are certain flowers, for example, the flowers that belongs to monocotyledonous class Monocotyledone, for example, lily flower. Lily flower. So lily flower has got only three whorls. Lily flower has got only three whorls. It is a bisexual flower, but it has got only three whorls. In case of lily flower, or there are many other flowers which belongs to the class Monocotyledone, among them they have got androecium, they have got gynoecium. Both the reproductive organs or essential whorls are present, but the outer whorl, that is non-essential whorl or accessory whorls, in that the sepals as well as petals. Sepals are the units of calyx, petals are the units of corolla. Sepal and petal are fused together to form a unit known as tepal. And whorl of tepals are called perianth. Whorl of tepals are called perianth. So in case of flowers like lily, there are only three whorls. Here the sepals and petals fuse together to form a unit known as tepal. Many of the tepals are arranged in a whorl to form perianth. So flowers like lily have got only three whorls. And you can take the example of any of the unisexual flowers. So unisexual flowers may be having either stamen or they may be having carpel. So if any of the flower, if it lacks carpel, they can be considered as incomplete because they have got only three whorls. So these are the flowers which are called as incomplete flowers. Okay? So remember the example of lily, which has got a special unit known as tepal, formed due to fusion of sepals and petals known as tepal. Whorl of tepal is known as perianth. Now let us discuss about bisexual and unisexual flower. The flower can be considered as bisexual if it has both the whorls of essential organs, or if it has both the essential whorls. You know that essential whorls are androecium and gynoecium. So bisexual flower has got both the reproductive unit, that is male reproductive unit as well as female reproductive unit. Whereas unisexual flowers are those flowers which lack any one of the essential whorl. So if the flower has got carpel, it may not be having stamen. If the flower has got stamen, it may not be having carpel. So such flowers are known as unisexual flowers. So unisexual flowers may be having either stamen or they may be having carpel. So flowers that have got stamen, they are the male flowers. So such flowers are known as staminate flowers. Staminate flowers. Flowers having only stamen are called staminate flowers. Whereas the flowers having only carpel that lacks stamen are known as pistillate flowers. Pistillate flowers. So remember that the staminate flowers are the male flowers. So you can represent the male with this symbol. So this symbol is male. So staminate flowers are male flowers, whereas pistillate flowers are female flowers. So such flowers which lack or which may be having either stamen or carpel are called unisexual flowers. Now coming to the symmetry of flowers. So there are certain flowers which may be having symmetry. There are certain flowers which may not be having symmetry. So those flowers which have symmetry are called symmetrical flowers. Those flowers which do not have symmetry are known as asymmetrical flowers. So under symmetrical flowers, there may be, or symmetrical flowers may be of two different types. Symmetrical flowers may be of two different types. So what do you mean by term symmetry? Symmetry is arrangement of floral organs around the axis. Okay, remember that symmetry is, or symmetry of a flower is arrangement of floral organs around the axis is known as symmetry of a flower. So symmetrical flowers may be of two types. They are actinomorphic flowers, and zygomorphic flowers. So if the flowers are symmetrical, they may be actinomorphic or they may be zygomorphic. So we will see what is the difference between actinomorphic flower and zygomorphic flower. Actinomorphic flower is the flower which has got the symmetry similar to the radial symmetry of animals. In some animals you have studied about radial symmetry and bilateral symmetry, right? So actinomorphic flowers generally have radial symmetry. So what do you mean by radial symmetry? If a flower is divided in any of the vertical plane into two equal halves. If we divide a flower in any of the vertical plane, if the flower divides into two equal halves, then such a flower is known as actinomorphic flower. Okay, actinomorphic flower. For example, the flowers of chili plant. The flowers of chili plant, flowers of chili, and even mustard. If you divide the flower in any of the vertical plane, they will give two equal halves. So such flowers are known as actinomorphic flowers. Then zygomorphic flowers are similar to the bilateral symmetry of animals. So they are like bilateral symmetry. So zygomorphic flowers are those flowers which divides into two equal halves only in one of the vertical plane, not in all vertical plane. So zygomorphic flowers are those flowers which can divide the flower into two equal halves only in one vertical plane. So such flowers are known as zygomorphic flowers. So examples of zygomorphic flowers: pea flowers, flowers of the pea plant, flowers of bean plant, they are all zygomorphic. They can be divided into two equal halves only in one vertical plane. So if you divide them in any of the other vertical planes, you will not get two equal halves. Okay. So such flowers are known as zygomorphic flowers. So based on the symmetry, or if the flowers are symmetrical, they may be actinomorphic or they may be zygomorphic. And there are certain flowers which cannot be divided into two equal halves in any of the vertical plane. Okay. The flowers that cannot be divided into two equal halves in any of the vertical plane are called as asymmetrical flowers. Asymmetrical flowers. For example, there are certain flowers which belong to, or there are certain flowers of canna plant. There are certain flowers of canna plant which will not be divided into two equal halves in any of the vertical plane. So such flowers are known as asymmetrical flowers. So based on the symmetry of a flower, we have discussed about symmetrical flowers and asymmetrical flowers. Symmetrical flowers may be actinomorphic or they may be zygomorphic. So next, let us discuss about the types of flowers based on the number of floral units that they are present in them. So flowers can be described as trimerous, tetramerous or pentamerous flowers. We have come across these terminologies, right? When we have classified class Monocotyledonae and class Dicotyledonae, we have discussed some of the characteristic features or differences between the members of monocots and dicots. There we have come across trimerous, tetramerous and pentamerous flowers. So trimerous flowers are those flowers which have the floral units or floral appendages in 3 or multiples of 3. For example, the flowers may be having petals or floral appendages in the number 3, 6, 9, etc. So such flowers are known as trimerous. Then what is tetramerous? The term tetra refers to 4. Tetra is 4. So tetramerous flowers are those flowers which have the floral appendages in 4 or multiples of 4. So such flowers are known as tetramerous flowers. Then pentamerous flowers. Pentamerous flowers are those flowers which have the floral appendages in 5 or multiples of 5, like 5 petals, 10 petals, 15 petals, etc. So these are the types of flowers based on the number of floral appendages that they are present in. Next, flowers can also be described as bracteate or ebracteate. Bracteate or ebracteate. So bracteate flowers are those flowers that have bract in them, whereas ebracteate flowers are those flowers that do not have bract. Flowers without bract are known as ebracteate. Flowers with bract are called as bracteate flowers. Okay? So what are these bracts? Bracts are highly reduced leaf-like structures. Bracts are reduced leaves or reduced leafy appendages that are present at the base of pedicel. Okay? The reduced leafy appendage that is found at the base of the pedicel. You know what is pedicel? Remember the terminologies clearly. Pedicel is the stalk of a flower. So if you observe some of the flowering plants, just observe some of the flowering plants, observe the pedicel, various parts of a flower. If the flower has got the small leaf-like appendage or leafy appendage at the base of the pedicel, such a flower can be described as bracteate flower. So if bracts are not present, such flowers can be described as ebracteate flowers. So we have to remember all these terminologies because we have to technically describe the flowers. Okay? In the same chapter, towards the end of the chapter, we have a concept of semi-technical description of flowering plants. So during semi-technical description of flowering plants, we usually use these terminologies. So better remember these terminologies and the meaning of these terms. Okay? So next, let us discuss about the types of flowers based on the position of ovary. So flowers can also be described based on the position of ovary. So flowers can be described into 3 different types based on the position of ovary. They are hypogynous flowers, perigynous flowers and epigynous flowers. Hypogynous, perigynous and epigynous flowers. Hypogynous, perigynous and epigynous flowers. So flowers are described as hypogynous if it has its ovary in the superior position. For example, this is a hypogynous flower. This is a hypogynous flower. This is a perigynous flower. This is an epigynous flower. So hypogynous flower is a flower which has got its ovary in the superior position. If you observe this image, you can note down, if you observe this diagram, you can note down that the position of the ovary. This is the ovary. Sepals, petals, stamens and carpel. Carpel has got 3 distinct parts: ovary, style and stigma. So observe the position of the ovary. Ovary is found in the superior position when compared to the sepals, petals as well as stamens. Okay. So we generally categorize the flowers into hypogynous, perigynous and epigynous based on the position of the ovary with respect to the other whorls of a flower or other units of a flower like sepals, petals or stamens. So when compared to the sepals, petals and stamens, the ovary occupies the superior position. Rest all the units of a flower or appendages of the flower are found below the ovary. So such a flower which has where the ovary is in the superior position, other parts of a flower or other units of a flower are found below the position of a ovary. So such a flower is known as hypogynous flower. So remember that in a hypogynous flower, the ovary has superior position. The ovary has superior position. So such kind of flowers or such kind of hypogynous flowers where ovary has superior position is seen in flowers of brinjal, flowers of mustard and China rose. So what do you mean by China rose? China rose is other name for hibiscus flowers. Okay, China rose is other name for hibiscus flowers. So in hibiscus flowers, mustard and brinjal, the ovary has superior position. Next, coming to perigynous flowers. Perigynous flowers are those flowers where the ovary has half inferior position. The position of ovary is half inferior. It is not completely inferior, half inferior. Just observe the diagram here. What is the position of ovary? Half of the ovary is superior, half is inferior. And you can observe the other whorls of the flower or other appendages of the flower like sepals, petals and stamens. So they are almost in the same level, right? As per the position of the ovary, the other units or other appendages of a flower are in the same level. So such a flower where the ovary is having half inferior position or the position of the ovary is half inferior and rest all the whorls or rest all the units or appendages of the flower are found in the same level, such a flower is known as perigynous flowers. So perigynous flower, example for perigynous flowers are rose, plum flowers, etc. Rose, plum flowers mainly have perigynous ovary. Next, coming to epigynous ovary. So compared to these two diagrams, observe this diagram. How is the position of the ovary? The ovary is completely inferior, right? When compared to the other floral appendages, the ovary is completely inferior. So epigynous flowers are those flowers where the ovary is completely inferior. The position of ovary is completely inferior. You can observe here, this is thalamus of the flower. Thalamus of a flower. Within the thalamus of a flower there is ovary and rest all the parts of the or rest all the appendages of the flower, that is sepals, petals and stamen, they are found above the level of ovary, above the position of ovary. So ovary is inferior, rest all the position of or rest all the appendages of a flower are found above the level of ovary. So such a flower where the ovary is in completely inferior position and rest all the units or rest all the appendages of the flower like sepals, petals and stamen are found above the level of ovary is known as epigynous flower. Okay, so such kind of flower. Examples for epigynous flowers are cucumber, flowers of cucumber plant is, and even the flowers of guava plant. Guava flowers as well as cucumber flowers mainly have epigynous ovary. So these are some of the terminologies we use to describe the flower. So what are those terminologies we have discussed? Complete flower, incomplete flower, bisexual, unisexual flower. If the flowers are unisexual, they may be staminate or they may be pistillate. Flowers may be symmetric flowers or asymmetrical flowers. If the flowers are symmetrical, they may be actinomorphic or zygomorphic. Flowers may be trimerous, tetramerous or pentamerous. Flowers may be bracteate or ebracteate based on the presence or absence of the bracts. Flowers can be described as hypogynous, perigynous or epigynous flowers. So next we have to discuss about each whorl of a flower in detail. So all the whorls of the flower has to be described in detail. We have to study in detail about calyx, corolla, androecium as well as gynoecium.